Yeah, yeah, we making moves. Yeah, we making moves. Yeah, yeah, we making moves. Yeah, we making moves. Yeah, we making moves. We making moves. Making moves. Making moves. Making moves.
Okay, let's go. Yo, I am so excited.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. I am Mr. Melee.
I am JEVVLZ, Jules.
And this is the Making Moves podcast. Yo, we're so excited because this is the very first.
You know what? We're not calling this a podcast. We're going to call it the GODcast. This is the GODcast.
The GODcast. So
Making moves, baby. Let's get it.
Yes. We are so excited to be here and starting the very first episode of the Making Moves GODcast. GODcast. Man, we got so much in store for y'all. We're so grateful to be here. This has been a long process in the workings.
I want to say this is mainly your idea. And I love it that you brought this together because, you know, we're brothers. We're real brothers. Same mother, same father.
Right.
Because we've been questioned a lot about that. Like, y'all really brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really brothers.
Really brothers.
This is my older brother.
Yes.
You know, so this is a time for us to speak about, you know, our journey of stardom, our journey of life. Right. And this is a beautiful thing. So we making moves. Let's get it.
Right. So right now we are here in the van. I feel like we should just call it the van. The van. This is the van. And our idea basically for this podcast is to bring you guys along for the ride, for our journey. And this van is very significant. It's not just any old van. Like, this is the van that we grew up in, that has been taking us from trips all over the country since we were kids. Right? Yeah, I think we got photos. Yeah, if we got photos, you know, throw some photos in there. But yeah, this van has been, you know, in our family for a long time. It's been, you know, one of those things that is kind of a staple that symbolizes our journey as young men growing up in New York. And just
Queens, baby.
Yeah, from Queens, you know, taking trips to Florida. You know, this is like one of those, like I said, symbolic things that is just, you know, the idea of family, of unity, of like the griot idea of telling stories, of, you know, making moments and making moves.
And let's not get it twisted. You know, we brought up Queens, which we have to definitely get into that story sooner or later.
Yeah, I know exactly
but we always represent Long Island and specifically Bewood.
Yeah,
Brentwood is in the house. We always gonna represent Long Island.
Big facts.
You know, that's where we at right now. And I guess we can get into it. We can talk about our story, 145, like how it all began and where we went, you know.
Yeah, because for those you who don't know, you know, we got fans all over the world, and we are so grateful to have that. And we've had a long journey within the music industry, and not to say that it's over. We're still working on it. We're still in there. We'll be dropping music, so look out for that.
We accomplished a lot.
Yeah, we
accomplished a lot, and we only tell these stories like, you know, with people specifically, but I don't think the world knows like all the people that we've met, all the celebrities, all the places that we've been, you know, together and individually. So
because, you know, when we were like really grinding it out and on our come up, the idea of like celebrity and the idea of like you know, people in media and people on the, you know, in front of the camera was to be more mystique. More, you know, like we didn't really come up in the era where we were posting on social media, telling you guys all the BTS and what's happening on behind the scenes, but there was so much happening behind the scenes because we are DIY kings. Like, we are
that's
like
literally
do it yourself. Like,
one thing that I feel like I've learned specifically, and well, I don't know for you, because I felt like you were on social media a little bit before we went on the Xfactor. I didn't have any social media. The most I had Well, that MySpace wasn't during that time, but I did have MySpace like back then, and like I think Facebook, but Instagram and Twitter, I was not trying to be on any of that. And then when we got on the show, they forced us to create an Instagram and Twitter.
Right. I just want to say, because like I was saying before, a lot of people may not know, but if you do, you do. If you don't, here's your opportunity to find out. We were finalists, a part of the Xfactor Simon Cowell show. If you don't know, we're gonna play a little clip right here. Just watch that real quick.
I thought, taking everything into account, you were bloody fantastic.
We were finalists, a part of the Xfactor, but that is not where our story begins.
That is not where our story begins.
It may seem like that, obviously, because that's where we got a lot of notoriety.
That's where the stardom,
right,
quote unquote, began.
Right.
But,
right.
But before, we've been doing this since we were young. I mean, I remember at the age of 6 years old rapping with my older brothers and my older cousin, rest in peace, to CeeLo.
Right.
CeeLo was the man who introduced us all to this music thing. Our older cousin, aka our older brother, our mentor, and he introduced us into this, and we basically started. The fondest memory I can remember is us rapping like Hot Boys. We were literally each members of like the Hot Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we started. We were like lip singing like to Hot Boys and Cash Money. And then next thing you know, we decided, why are we copying them? Let's do our own thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's been a long journey, and we've started from the bottom.
And that was all in Queens,
right?
145, 145th Street, Jamaica, in Queens, like South Ozone Park. That's where the Queens come from, because we had a little issue with that. People Queens. Where they get Queens from?
We are definitely from Queens. What I like to say,
in Queens,
we were born and raised in Queens, and we grew up in Long Island. That's what I like to say.
I always love you saying that, because we were born and raised in Queens. We had the tough times in Queens.
I learned how to ride my bike in Queens.
And we got robbed in Queens, literally. I'm going to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
And then we moved out to LI, and that's where we really grew up, high school experiences. You had times where this man had created the Brentwood anthem,
right? Which
I find hilarious, because me and him wasn't in school at the same time. So when you get an introduction to the high school as a ninth grader, they show the Brentwood anthem. And they show it to every kid that's like joining Brentwood.
Yeah, all the freshmen.
And then I'm like laughing, because I'm like, that's my brother.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey, and back to what you were saying about the Xfactor. That was the kind of the spark of us taking a different, the next stage of our journey. We started really just grinding, hustling, doing shows in New York, actually all over the state,
everywhere,
all over the country rather, and even getting paid doing it. A lot of people were not doing that at that time. Like, we were getting paid to do shows. We were actually getting booked for gigs. Like, it wasn't just like,
we did a lot of things
stuff
that a lot of people weren't doing at that time. We were selling shirts.
Ooh.
Like
merch kings,
literally, like, in our neighborhood. I
gotta bring in an old shirt. I think I have some.
We do have some. Yeah, we got that for you. But like, literally in our neighborhood, people have known us before the show. We were selling CDs. Like I had people in high school that said, I remember you coming in lunchtime giving CDs out. Right. Things that I don't even remember. We were always killing every talent show. Like, talent show, we bought a show. And the merch, like, before everybody was doing this whole merch thing, like, we've been doing that, the merch thing. We got clips.
Yeah,
let's show another clip.
Official. This is Mel, everybody. Give it up to Mel right over here. 145 strongest. Come on, Jules in the house. Jules.
Yeah, and this is our point of the whole podcast, to kind of get those stories out, to get all of the behind the scenes that happen from us doing shows in the city to like almost getting into full-on brawls in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? To us, traveling all the way to Cali and doing shows out there and meeting big celebrities and going to private
From Cali
parties
to China.
right, and then going to overseas and hitting that market in China, which is, you know, big talk going on right now with China. And it's so funny to hear, to you know, be one of the very few who've had that experience and can understand like a little bit about that, to now see what's going on and with this, I guess, feud between us and China, which is crazy. But first, I know we wanted to get into a little bit about the Xfactor for the people who didn't know, you know, that was from our experience there. And
hey, how did it begin?
Yeah.
You know, like I think it was, we had no intention of going on the Xfactor.
we didn't care.
We
didn't care at all.
The first season, there was like only like one rapper that was known on there. We didn't even watch the show.
Yeah.
But we
shout out to Astro though.
Shout out to Astro.
Yeah.
We didn't know about the show, and basically it was our cousin CeeLo who said, you know what? They're doing auditions in Rhode Island. I think y'all should go to Rhode Island and audition. And we're like, all right. But during that time, we were performing
we were
lot.
moving. We were actually like in talks with labels a little bit.
Yes.
Like, we had like some buzz going on with some talks
We
with
was
labels.
moving.
Yeah.
Like,
We were
we were making moves.
Even our YouTube, like our YouTube started to grow because we would do these covers of these songs, and we would basically like how this whole algorithm thing now with the hashtags, we were doing that before like any of that was really
we
popping.
were beating the algorithm.
Yeah, we
Like,
was hopping on the wave of songs that
over
was
100,000 views on YouTube. Like we was killing it.
So
with
we
the
were
algorithm.
moving. We were definitely making moves at that same time, and our cousin came to us with this opportunity. He was like, "Yo, I watched this show. I think you guys would be great on it." We had no clue what it was. We were like, "Okay, I guess whatever." We taking any opportunity right now. So we ended up going to the audition, and I think the craziest thing, the most funnest, the most beautiful thing about this experience is because, like you were saying, we had no intention,
we didn't
no
care.
idea. We didn't care.
we
it
really
wasn't
didn't
something
care.
we didn't take it serious. And that I think is the thing that got us so far.
Yeah.
Because we were not nervous.
On top of like us already in the motion of doing it, we've been performing so much,
hundreds of shows,
and we were doing this set where we go back and forth.
Right.
We're going back and forth. We did 100 shows already, so it was like, oh, we gotta perform in front of a couple of people. Like this is
a
nothing.
handful
like,
of people at that, like on camera. Like this is nothing. So we would go into those little auditions. If you guys don't know the process, like it starts as little audition rooms. Well, for us it did, because I heard some people did it online, but we wanted to go in person. So we went to these little audition rooms, and we would just bug out, like we were wilding out,
we
go in front of the
ONE4FIVE. We was just running in there, like it would be like 4 people at a table, in a small room. And then we're just like running in front of their faces, rapping. I rap, he raps with like going back and forth.
Yeah. So because like I was saying, we didn't care. It was just like, yo, we're gonna have fun with it.
It got to the point where they would cut us off.
I don't think we've ever finished the song.
We never finished the song. For the first, it was like 4?
Yeah, it was like
before
4
the
auditions.
actual live audition.
Yeah,
it was like 4 auditions, and as soon as we go blah blah blah, they're like, stop, go.
You guys are through.
You guys are through. Like,
and that kept happening. After a while, we were like, wait. We might get on this shit. Like, before we was like, yo, they're not accepting us. We rappers, we 2 black kids. They're not accepting us, man. Like, we just gonna go in there, have a good time, and it'll be a fun story.
And to talk about like. The reason why we might have felt like that, which we probably not thinking about, we've actually had our experience before that being on America's Got Talent,
right?
We was about to make that one too at one point.
I think we missed the audition, like, because that was our time. Well, once again, like I said, we've been doing this for a minute. Our parents were managing us,
and we have 4 of us in the group.
Right. So it's a lot with having people, our parents managing us, then 4 people in the group, And I
shout
think
out
something
to
happened.
Juice Man, shout out to Drag.
Right.
It was all family. It was 5 of us.
Yeah. It used to be like we were like the Jackson 5s low key. We were like the Jackson 5 low key. When we first started, we would wear the same outfits.
Same outfits.
I know we got footage. We got to play some footage of that shit. Like we had the same outfits on. And like run around doing shows all over New York, and it was 5 of us. At one point, we used to do freaking bar mitzvahs.
Bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, bar mitzvahs is the bread. Listen, say what you want to say. Like I was saying, we wasn't just little young whippersnappers doing music. Nah, we was getting paid. So we would get hired for bar mitzvahs. We would get hired for private parties. We would get hired for just shows in general. We were making bread, like, and I'm talking about as teenagers, not. Before
they were teenagers. I was.
Yeah, he was a freaking. I don't even. He was a child. Basically.
I was a child, literally.
But the star of the show, because imagine like you got a bunch of teenagers out there rapping, and then this little 3-foot runs out and starts fucking doing Michael Jackson, sliding across the stage and shit. Like, yo, it was crazy. Like, if you experienced 145 in those times, it was a time to be had. Like, it was definitely.
Most definitely.
It's sad because we don't really. I feel like we don't see that too much anymore. Like, we don't really see like.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't really see like amazing performances, amazing artists doing, especially in the rap category.
Even young people like really doing it. Like, young people now just following,
Yeah.
But to continue the story of our story, after the auditions,
right, we made it to the TV.
When we made it to the TV, that was a great experience too. That day we found out we were literally out celebrating, and then we found the news and we was just jumping in joy, and then we say, you know what, let's keep it on the low. We're gonna keep it on the low, keep working, and then we started working towards songs.
Right,
we were just predicting the future. Like, this is the idea of like literally manifesting. I feel like we manifested this fully, and
we had songs. We understood like what the show was. And it was basically like kind of like doing covers. So we would take songs that were already popping, even old songs, like, and we would remix them. And we just had like literally, I even still have it in my phone now on my notes.
Like one was, you down with OPP?
Yeah.
We changed because OPP and ABC with Michael Jackson.
Right.
That's a classic song.
We did the mashups.
So we did that mashup, and we were like, you down with 145? Yeah, you know me.
And if you notice, if you guys are familiar with the show, that was very prevalent on the show, us doing mashups, and that was themes. Basically our idea.
Yeah, like they had themes for each week, and I mean, after the judges' home, which we did with Simon Cowell and what's his name?
L.A. Reid?
No, the judges.
No, Mark Anthony. Yeah.
We did the judges' home with Mark Anthony, and
which is crazy because we bombed. That wasn't the one we bombed. I'm sorry. That wasn't the one we bombed. That was the other one. Okay. Nah. That one
feel
was
like
good.
We bombed at all. I'm trying to remember.
What? Are you kidding me?
When did we bomb? I'm serious. I don't remember that.
The one that didn't make it. Remember the Cypher?
No diggity?
The Cypher. No, Eminem, Forever.
No, we kind of killed that. We thought we bombed.
Yeah.
No, we thought we bombed, but low key, this is a great story. Like,
you forgot about that one.
This is something that they never put on TV, but like that was before the live shows. We had a battle.
I what it was called, camp. It was like boot camp.
Boot camp. Yeah, it was boot camp, and where we would battle, and we had to battle this. I'm gonna say this white boy who was like
Right.
No offense, because white boys can spit, but
Right.
this one wasn't that.
Nah,
He
it
wasn't.
wasn't
He wasn't Eminem. He wasn't lit. He wasn't fire. He wasn't Mac Miller. He didn't have no. You know,
it was
little sazon on it. He didn't have that. I'm gonna keep it a hundo. You know, he didn't have that, and he was just like trying to battle us. And we pick the Drake song, Drake, Eminem, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West. And as soon as we decided to choose that song, he jumped for Drake's part. He just jumped for it. Like, last name, like, easiest verse. First name, greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with. I'm like, we looked at him like, what verse y'all choosing? We choosing Eminem.
The hardest
one. There they go. Back in Sadie's and Lady Sisters flow. Yo, we were going in. And we had to learn this within like 4 to 5 hours.
That was the tough part about that experience, because we had to learn it very quickly. And, you know, it's like you got to retain all the lyrics to these songs, be on beat, and then have like some kind of stage presence as well. So that was the difficult part, but we kind of did it.
We killed it. We killed it.
But is this something?
What happened was we went there to perform it. He was performing this part because he was first, and then he effed up. He bombed. And then we like, all right, yeah, he effed up. We got this. We running, and we're doing our part, and then he jumped over us. Right. Because he knew that he bombed.
He fucked up, yeah.
So he tried to freestyle. He was like, oh, it was a boot camp battle. Like, we were battling for the spot. And then he seen that, oh, shit, I effed up. So let me go jump and try to ruin them, basically. And mind you, this is in front of our mentors at the time, which was...
Was it everyone?
Sonic Harvey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Harvey.
Well, shout out to Harvey, man. We love
Harvey Mason Jr.
Grammys.
Yeah, CEO of the Grammys.
Right.
At that time, he wasn't CEO. Right. He was just with the Underdogs, which they were basically in charge of us, like mentoring us. They were one of our
first coaches, like our first music coaches in there.
So we did that, and then he tried to ruin us, and then he messed us up.
Right.
So he's rapping. Then it became a real battle. Like, and then we just start freestyling.
Yeah, and just started going back and forth. That's why I felt like we bombed, because it was chaotic. Like,
yeah, it was chaotic.
I don't even remember what happened. I legit don't even remember.
But I remember we were saying relevant stuff at that time, because I remember I was going ham. Like, I was like veins popping out my neck, like, and I died for this. Like,
man, I wish they aired that. It was because I would just love to see it. Like, what happened? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't really remember what happened, because it was like an out of body experience. Like, because
it was an out of body
going
experience.
And I see this motherfucker. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, all right, we gotta go improvise, and we just start doing something. Like,
we was
crazy.
freestyling, but we killed it. And
obviously we did good, because we made it to the next round. And
we didn't make it technically. We got eliminated.
Right,
we got eliminated, but it was a fake elimination. And can you remember that moment? How you felt when they said you're not gonna make it?
Yeah, I think we were like. We were disappointed, but we were like, yo, this is motivation for us to go back home. Because we were moving already. We were already making moves.
Yeah, so this wasn't a big deal to us.
Yeah, it was like, this is great. This is going to be a nice launch pad. And we're like, yo, when we go home, we're going to fucking just go in, like start really going in. And then, like he said, it was a fake elimination. And they were like, we eliminated 145. And we
you know what? Let's show a clip of that.
We have a clip of that?
We got eliminated. Then they called us back to the stage and decided to put us in a group instead of sending us home.
Yo, we hit.
So, like, getting that eliminated, obviously nobody wants to hear that you don't make it. I'm not going to say we didn't really care, but we really didn't at the same time, because we were already in motion. We were like, you know what, it is what it is. We
were in Miami at this time, too, by the way.
Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. That was our first time in Miami, actually.
Was it?
I feel like that was our first time in Miami.
Yeah, I think it was.
And we was at the Fontainebleau.
Oh.
We was chilling. We was, and you know the weirdest part.
Anytime I think about the fountain, because I was of age at the time. Sir Jules here was not,
but I was still doing my thing.
He was out doing his thing.
Yo, shout out to Drew Chad. Yo, from Emblem 3. Me and him was mobbing that night. We was doing our own thing, like, and we was getting in the clubs, which is so funny. Like, me and him was doing our own thing. We were 19. I was 19 during the time, so we couldn't really get in the clubs. And I'm not gonna lie, I remember the specific point of Fifth Harmony. All of them were young.
Yeah,
they were minors.
One of them wasn't.
Oh, Allie wasn't. Allie was the same age as me, but I remember Lauren wanting to go out.
Yeah, the crazy Lauren.
And I was speaking to her mom, and she's like, "He's old enough. You can't go out." She was like, "Mom, I want to go."
So much, man. Lauren is so awesome.
Shout out to Lauren.
Yeah,
Lauren is a real pure heart.
Oh yeah.
Someone
and
of
she has such an amazing voice, man. Like that Emotion song. I don't know if you. That Emotion song is beautiful. So shout out to Lauren.
Shout out to Lauren. But yeah, Miami was awesome because we in the Fontainebleau. We didn't even know what the Fontainebleau is. Right. We heard Fontainebleau. Yeah. All right, whatever.
Club Live.
And it's so hard to be like literally on TV, knowing you're on TV, but it hasn't aired, and you can't really tell anybody nothing.
Yeah. That was definitely a challenge, but I got fucking smacked. Wet Willies, man. Wet Willies.
If you know Miami, you know Wet Willies, son.
I got stupid smacked at Wet Willies. But I think the part we was getting into is that we got eliminated and then we were brought back as a group. As an addition to our group. Like we got combined with another artist, Lyric the Queen. So that's how that happened. Like if anyone's curious, because I think, that's another thing. Like people know that about us, like that, she ended up being a part of our group, but like how did that happen? And that's how it happened. We both got eliminated, and then we got combined because they loved us both so much. Because Lyric was definitely doing her thing too. Like
we were
she
killing
stood out. Yeah.
Individually, we always had that respect for each other because we were doing the same thing.
Right.
Where she performed for herself, no backtrack, nothing, just straight bars, lyrics, and performing. And we kind of felt the same way about each other. And what people don't know, a story, which is amazing. I think we did tell the story, but we started meeting behind the scenes. There was a point it wasn't the judge's home. It was a point in boot camp where we would have one elevator. Everybody would take this elevator and wait.
I remember that.
And Lyric happened to find
the service elevator.
And for some reason, we would just happen to run into her, and she was like, yo, follow me. Which is kind of crazy.
If you really think about it. It's divinity.
Was there cameras around? Like they knew, like
divinity.
It was divinity.
Right.
And it was all three of us in the elevator, and we was just like on some Michigan, cool, New York type of vibe, like just vibing,
And that was way before any of this even, it wasn't even in our realm of thinking. To be honest, I didn't know about One Direction. Like, I didn't know that they had done that already with them.
Yeah. We just heard about One Direction. Right. We didn't know that they put them in a group.
Yeah. So, I didn't even think that was, a possibility. So, when that happened, when we got eliminated, I was like, all right, we going home. They were like, nah, we bring y'all back as a group. I was like, what?
It's that is ridiculous because it's like, looking back at it, I sometimes wonder, did we pop out the elevator, us three?
Seen it.
And somebody seen it, and it was like,
oh my God. Wow. This is what we need to do right here.
So we did our performance individually, and then they did a fake elimination, and then they brought us back, and they put us in a group together, and we was just like,
yeah.
And we all seen it.
Right.
There was no hesitation. I don't believe there was hesitation on her part. It was just like,
whoa, okay, this will work.
Damn, because we were vibing already before that. So it was like, how did they even see this?
Yeah.
So then that like that brings us to our first Judges Home, where we did with Mark Anthony and Simon Cowell. We killed that. We did Party in the USA.
And a Britney song was on, and a Britney song was on. Everybody put their hands up, they playing my song. The butterflies fly away. I'm riding in my head like
With Miley Cyrus, which is so funny because I look at comments of that video like from time to time, and people like, every time I hear this song, I think about this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that moment.
And we weren't fond to Twitter and Instagram,
right.
And we heard from Miley Cyrus, tweeted us and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
weren't
like,
too tapped in with social media at that time, but yeah, we definitely got a couple mentions and a couple like people knew and saw and showed us some love and appreciation, but we just wasn't really tapped in like that at the time. So probably missed a couple DMs that might have been really reputable. So yeah, that was. But after that, there was another thing that I feel like wasn't really aired. The battle of the groups, right?
The battle of the.
It was like because it was groups. A bunch of groups made it, and then it was like the battle of the groups, and that's no, it wasn't battle of the groups. It was like the groups collab.
The groups collab. That's actually
no. It wasn't groups. It was just all the people who made it. I forgot what time.
I think
the top 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the top 30 was collaborating on a song, and that's when we did Boom.
That's when we did Boom Shake the Room with a bunch of rappers, and we either individually had a part.
Right.
And actually, that's what happened before we got eliminated. Like, I mean, no, that happened before they put us in a group together.
Oh, that happened before.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, we try to figure
that
out.
Happened before.
It happened a while ago.
Because it was like all the rappers.
It was
like,
all the rappers. They put us
together.
in the group together, and we had to perform Will Smith's "Boom Shake the Room." And then we doing Boom Shake the Room, and we individually have our part. And out of all of those groups, we all got eliminated, and we were shocked. But then to find out that out of that group of the song that we performed, the Boom Shake the Room, they put me, you, and Lyric in a group.
Right.
And that's how it all started.
I don't think, and people never saw that because we did Boom Shake the Room again, but not knowing that we actually did it before we got it. Actually did it on live shows. We did it in that little rapper battle thing with a bunch of different rappers.
That was our first live show. So when we did the live show, it's so funny to look back at these things because they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do Boom Shake the Room." I'm like, all right, we know that already.
Right.
We been did that. We killed that already. So
and it was my idea. If you guys know or watch the video, please go watch the video. Maybe let's play a little clip of it. So if you see the video, we did Gundam Style. That was my idea. Because I knew that song. That song was big at the time. And I'm like, yo, we have to incorporate this song. Gundam Style. Like, it's the biggest song in the world right now. The first song to hit 1 billion views. Like, we got to hit that international market. And yeah, we did that.
That was fire. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that was good. They loved that.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta add this in there. Like, we got it because we at the time we were kind of sort of transitioning to a pop thing, anyway.
Yes.
Which is another thing because we got a lot of flack for not being hip hop enough.
But we already had that in mind that we want to be separate from hip hop. We want to be international artists. We looked at Black Eyed Peas a lot as like an example.
Right.
But we wanted to mixture of Black Eyed Peas and what's the most famous group? The Fugees.
Oh, right.
A mixture of that, you know?
That was what 145 was at that time.
I mean, even that was another thing I would like to talk about. Like, a lot of people back home, or not even a lot of people, just in general, they felt like Lyric is the forefront, and why y'all putting Lyric the forefront and everything. I'm like, that's something that's never crossed our mind. One, we're not open to like jumping over what's natural.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you know what? She's a woman. Let her be. It only makes sense.
Yeah, she literally is like, we used to go places and people would just be like drawn to her look, her energy, and we like, yo, what, that makes sense. It's the same thing like people would say the Fugees, like, you know, and Lauryn Hill's like the center of that.
Lauryn Hill's
like,
the center
it makes
of
sense.
it. It's
like, why fight against that? Like, and you know, and because we 100%, like, we grew up with all boys in the house, brothers. We are team players. We understand the idea about team, yo. It's not about one person.
And it's not ego. Our ego was never high where we're like, no, I gotta be in the front, blah, blah, blah. And like, and personally, me, I love being the like, I know that would sound weird, but I'm like, shit, let her be the face of it. You know, like, I as long as you splitting it 3 ways.
Right, that's a fact.
That's all I care about. Split it 3 ways, I'm good. I love performing. I love doing this. You know, we come from a hard time of just working. At this time, you were working for Home Depot.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even tell them I was leaving. That was one job I never did that. Like, I just got up one day and I walked out and I was like, yo, we about to make it. Like, I left that job and I never put in my 2 weeks. I never told nobody I was leaving and I just dipped. And to be honest, they never called me, so they didn't give a fuck anyway.
They seen you on TV.
Nobody ever called me and say, yo, why you didn't come to work today? I just did not ever show up.
But we did Boom Shake the Room, and I think it's a testimony. Why I love that song specifically, because Will Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Bless the Will Smith.
Rest in peace. I mean, oh, God. I'm sorry, I'm killing off Will Smith already. Yo, much love. Much love to the legend. Much love to the legend Will Smith. You know, I ain't gonna front. I do have some critique about Will Smith. Fuck it, man. Yeah. I seen this. Somebody else, I seen a clip of it. Somebody put this, I saw a clip and it put it in my head. Like, I see Will Smith as like a legend, obviously, as an icon, obviously, but also like a mogul. Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel like he's not tapping in enough into that mogul side where he has, like, I feel like Will Smith should own a label.
That's like, definitely.
Will Smith should have like artists under him. Will Smith should have a team. He's the first
rapper to achieve a Grammy. Bro. It's beautiful for what he's doing, but you know, I talked to you about that, and I was like, maybe he has a lot on his plate, like where it feels like, you know, because he's doing certain things like the Bel Air and he's doing movies. How can he manage artists?
I get it.
But and you did have a response to that I was like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah, and my thing was, I get that. I totally get that because it's hard to kind of spread yourself thin in that way. But yo, like, for instance, you come to somebody like us, somebody like Will Smith comes to us and say, yo, I see what you guys doing. Like, how can I help? I'll say, yo, we just need the capital and we need the connections. That's it.
Yeah, you don't need to get moving already.
Yeah, we move. We making moves already. We got a team. We able to do whatever we need to do without that. But if we had the capital and the connection, we could take it much farther. So like, I understand. Like, yeah, I can't, you know, dispense my staff, and I have, you know, I don't want to spread myself thin. But yo, if you believe and see something that's moving already,
especially
just
us,
take the capital and the
we have a big connection with Will Smith. Like, when we first started doing this music, we weren't cursing.
Right.
Like that, we were very known for that.
True.
Like, because we were young, and then, you know, like we had our parents as our manager, so we weren't known for that. And it's like, you know, from Philly to Bel Air is like from Queens to Long Island.
yeah, that's true.
But we really respect Will Smith and everything that he's done.
I mean, especially like with that being said,
I'm not gonna hold you. There was one time in Xfactor where I felt like Melee was definitely tripping. Me and Lyric, was getting on him for this for days.
Come on, man, that would have been fire. I know exactly.
And he's still with it. He's still going with it.
What you talking about?
This guy, they said, what songs you want to perform? We got a list of songs, and he put Jiggy with it. And
Come on. I'm not getting jiggy with it? Come on.
I said,
getting jiggy with it?
Doing that.
Come on, yo. Everybody knows that song. Nah, 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 nah.
But it's so funny. He was so tight at us because we wanted to do, we were considering doing Dolly Parton.
Yeah, oh, forget about it. Don't even go into that shit.
He's like, y'all want to do Dolly Parton, but y'all don't want to do Will Smith Get Jiggy with it.
I got tight.
He got really tight.
I was tight because, you know, like... we let's put it out there. Listen, we young black individuals on this show that is mainly, promoted and pushed to predominantly Caucasian audience. Mm-hmm. Know what I mean? So I'm thinking like on that aspect, I get it why they would think, oh, do Dolly Parton, but it's like at the same time we black.
You know why I think they thought that? Because we did the they never would think that we do Party in the USA. Miley Cyrus. So they're like, with these producers, they don't really know what they're doing. And I'm going to put that out there. Like that's one thing. We need to start getting a lot more black people on the...
POCs in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. In general, like, because they stick with one thing and they don't really know the culture or nothing, and they just run with that. Oh, they did great in Party USA. What can we think of? Dolly Parton. And it's like,
and the part that really got me tight is that
we love Dolly Parton, by the way.
Right, big facts. The part that got me tight is that was during Diva Week. That's what got me tight. Ooh. And we were supposed to do Aretha Franklin. So they denied us to do Aretha Franklin in order to put Dolly Parton in her place. And I was like...
And we came to the conclusion of Queen, which is something that we did not want to do.
We did.
And Queen and Katy Perry.
And let it behold, that is the time we got booted off.
When we got booted off. And speaking of that, Kanye West was there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was our last show. Yeah. And we actually had something in the bag. We had, I think it was that we down 1145. You down 1145.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because we had Save Me song.
Yeah, Save Me song. Right. And that would have been crazy.
And we can't wait. We said, regardless what happens, we have the Save Me song. And just happened that night, they like, nobody will be able to perform the Save Me song. We're like, what?
Yeah.
So we just ended with Queen and Katy Perry. No disrespect to them, but it's like, we did not want to do that. We wanted to do Aretha Franklin, RSEPECT.
Mm-hmm.
Respect. Like, because you got to respect us.
We had a song already done. It was fire.
It was super fire. And we put it out, and they got a lot of views, actually, which is crazy. But
yeah,
Kanye seen us that night. And
man, like, that was crazy.
Who else I remember that night? From 101.
101.
Yeah, the actor in 101. He's really big. Shoot.
Oh, one-on-one. Flex Washington.
Flex, man. Yo, shout out to Flex, man.
Yeah, he was tight.
Every time I see Holly Flex and Holly Pete,
right,
they have so much love for us. I've never really expected that from us. Right. And you know how I know it's real? When we got eliminated, I happened to see them in the audience, and I seen their reaction.
Yeah.
And they were so devastated. They were like,
yeah.
Yo, Flex Washington, he was
tight. I'd never seen somebody that tight.
He was tight.
And it's so funny because obviously we standing in front of this audience, there's hundreds of people, right? For some reason, it seemed like a spotlight went on this guy. Like, I seen him in the crowd just like tight, like standing there like he was pissed.
He was really there,
like, goodbye, guys. He's like, nah. I'm like,
I was like, wow, man. Yo, Flex really rock with us, man. Holly Pete, they talked to us after, which was awesome. Yeah. And we was just like, at that time, we was like, honestly over it because they tried to put us against each other.
Yeah, it was a lot of BS going on.
It was a lot of reality television type of stuff, They came to talk to us. They're like, And you know, at that time it was Sandy
Right.
storm happening in New York. We talked about that, and they're like, "All right, guys, we need a story for you." And we're like, originally when we came on the show, we didn't expect for it to be we have to tell a story.
Yeah.
We just perform
Because we were music artists. Like,
will bring us everywhere.
we didn't understand, and you know, this is something that we learned afterwards. We didn't understand the difference between TV and music. It's two different industries, even though they intertwine
Reality TV
sometimes.
too.
And yeah, specifically reality TV. Even though they intertwine at times, they are two different industries. Like, music industry and the TV or the reality TV industry is very different. And we didn't get the understanding of that reality TV part. Like, yo, people want to hear your story. People, you gotta say something. We were just like, yo, the music gonna speak for itself. So we didn't really get that aspect of it. And during that time, like, it was starting to be a lot of nothing crazy, but a little turmoil behind the scenes of people, of us not having the full understanding. Like, this is also TV.
Yeah. We didn't
like,
get
yo,
that.
we just want to do the music. The music fire.
Make
We're gonna
music,
make dope music.
and like, you know, you perform for the audience. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we know. So it's like, at one point they're like, all right. Our ratings was good too, because when we did our first live show, the Will Smith Boom Shake the Room, like they loved it. They were literally talking about we're #1 in the world, and we didn't even care about that stuff. Like, we were the type, we don't look at the comments. We did not look at like the reaction. We was just in the moment. Like, we weren't reading comments and things like that. But like from there, like we just decided to like make the decision, like on the Xfactor, like Kanye's there. You know, like, we got eliminated. It is what it is. They tried to put us against each other, which we didn't like.
Yeah.
At first, they started to try to, before putting us against each other, they actually first started to say who's hooking up with Lyric.
Oh yeah. That was
And we're like,
we got that shit all the time. People always ask us that.
yo, which one of y'all? No, bro, it's not like that, man. We like brothers and sister. And what people didn't know at the time was she wasn't straight. Like, she liked women.
We
like,
didn't even know. But it never came up. It wasn't just like, it's not even something that we asked or we thought to ask. It was like, it never came up.
It was just the vibe. That was the vibe, you know, like the vibe wasn't, we didn't feel that. There was no attraction.
Yeah.
So Simon Cowell, one time we performed in front of him, and Simon Cowell's like, so which one of you guys made out with Lyric or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
I remember that. I was like,
and we all looked at each other like, what? Nah. This ain't this. That ain't that. Like, so they figured that didn't work, and they're like, all right, that didn't work. Let's see what can work. Let's put them. The love won't happen. Let's get the hate. Let's put them against each other. So they put us to the side, me and you, without Lyric. They said, we're going to get y'all on camera without Lyric. And we're like, at this time, we've been building
rapport
relationship, Lyric 145. It's all us three. So they get us, without even telling us, they pull like a camera in distance. And then we have one
bushes.
of,
literally in the bushes, like crazy.
One of our mentors is like, yo, how do you, this was actually before elimination. They're like, yo, how do y'all feel that Lyric is getting most of the lyrics for the song? Like, she's running all, how y'all feel? I'm like, yo, we good with it. Like, we don't, They're like, now y'all don't feel no type of way? Like, nah.
Nah, it is what it is. Like, it's for the team. Like, we really for the team. Like, whoever got the mic or got the spotlight, yo, you go. It's for the team.
So they tried to create that friction between us that wasn't there, and we was not with it. We was just not with it. Like, so I think they got a sense of that, like at the producers and everybody, and they're like, all right, they don't, what is it? They want to create a story. And we didn't have the story. They tried to create the poor kid story, urban story, where, they come from the hood. They even, where we bring this back, they even recorded us in Long Island, walking down the street next to abandoned buildings, like, and they put Queens.
Right.
that we were in Queens
They
when
labeled it Queens, but we were actually in Long Island. I feel either Brentwood or
we were in
somewhere out
Long
here.
Island. But it's like our people from Long Island's like, yo, what? Like, yo, they selling out on us. Like, yo, how they gonna represent Queens? And the whole time from the beginning, we always said what you said in the beginning. Born and raised in Queens and grew up in Brentwood and Long Island.
Right.
But they cut that Brentwood and Long Island out. They cut it out. They kept cutting it out.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And obviously, you know, people don't understand. It's like, we don't get to see that. We see it when y'all see it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get to see this stuff. We don't know what's going to happen until it actually gets out there. So it's like, none of this, we didn't know. We were just talking. We doing hours and hours sometimes of interviews. And people, and they're chopping and cutting. There's so much that we talked about that they cut out that was not used. We would have to wake up early in the morning at times just to get the right sunlight to do interviews, and a lot of it did not make it. And that's what I was talking about before about the TV versus the music part. Like, you know, music is usually late night. We up late night in the studio. Yeah. TV is like early morning, get the sunlight. We got to make sure the lighting is good and so it's a different
day. All day long shooting.
All day.
Even the days we weren't shooting, we were just shooting and shooting and shooting. So they got a gist of that. They're like, man, these guys will not abide to what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll be honest with you. I always think about it now. If I was, if we knew what we knew,
you would have played the game.
I would have played the game.
100%. I would have played the game.
And that's what's going on right now.
I understand that it's a game. Because the thing was too real. Like, yeah, I'm a real nigga.
I'm a real nigga.
Like, I keep it real. What's the Dave Chappelle shit?
Yeah, keeping it real.
Yeah,
when keeping it real goes wrong.
That's
what happened to us.
Yo, I'm keeping it real.
We're like,
yo.
nah, we're not doing
we
that.
ain't saying no bullshit.
Nah, we're not.
Now we understand, yo, it's a
you're not
game.
doing that?
You gotta
play. Our next eliminate Lyric145.
Exactly.
Like, damn.
Like, oh shit, keeping it real.
And I'm not gonna lie, at that time we didn't care. We was so over it. Like the BS.
We was
like
low-key pissed in the background. Like, damn.
Yo, they wanted us to sing. They got us together to sing with everybody, and we're like, we're not singing. Like,
yeah.
Like we got to that point, but you know, you learn. As you get older, you learn the business. You learn everything.
It's a business. It's nothing personal. Of course, you got to stay authentic, and that's the biggest thing that we were focusing too much on that. But you know, you got to stay authentic and true to yourself. But you have to play the game. Like, it's a business. Like, everybody's out here working, and you know, as long as you're not doing something that you feel is detrimental to yourself or other people. And then this is our point of view, because obviously a lot of people have different ones. But like, from our perspective, as long as we feel like we were not doing something that's detrimental to ourselves or our community or other people, we should have been more aligned and going along with the game, which is, you know, the music game, the music business, the rap game, whatever, you know, like literally people say that it's a game.
Yeah,
you gotta play.
The game.
You gotta play. You gotta play.
Industry is the game.
You gotta be in it to win it.
It's the game.
Yeah. So, you know, it was a beautiful experience, beautiful learning lesson. Man, I wish we had got to meet Kanye, because there's been a couple times after that like we could have met him. You said you had an opportunity where you might have run into him? Yeah,
that was when he was performing in Atlanta. Because anytime that I go to a performance, I don't look at it like from the spectator as an audience member.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make moves. So if I get a ticket, I'm trying to make moves.
Right.
If I get a ticket to a concert, I'm not enjoying the concert. I'm trying to see how I can get backstage.
Which we have done. We definitely have done that. So, yeah. I tried to do the same thing in Korea. Like, I seen Kanye in Korea, and I tried to get backstage, but the way they have it set up, they have it locked down. Like, it's like quadrants. You got to make it to each quadrant.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can start at level 1. You might get past level 1, but you got 4 more levels to get to, and it's like, by the time you get to level 3, it's like, they're like, you got to have this thing with this thing, and I'm like, damn, I couldn't get past that. So, but yeah, it was an amazing experience to see Kanye in Korea, which I always think about, like, yo, he seems so different. Like when he was in Asia and when he was in Korea, he seems very grounded. He seems like, yo, he was on there saying that he loved everybody. He loved Jay-Z, he loved Kanye. I mean, he loved John Legend, and he was shouting everybody out. Kid Cudi, he was really shouting everybody out.
I think he's a master of the game. Like, I think he's so much of a master of the game that people don't understand that. Regular people will not understand that. Somebody who have a 9 to 5 will not get it until they're in that position. People, all publicity is good publicity. So when he puts on, like, he does the Nazi thing and yeah, you may disagree with it and stuff like that, but in his head, he knows what he has to do to get the attention to work towards what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, even though I do think it's authentic for him at the same time because he's having real experiences. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to that Nazi thing, like I said, I'm not a fan of, like, promoting hate towards anything because that's something that's real. But I feel like a lot of people are not gonna like me for saying this, but I feel like there's always a reason to why he's doing what he's doing. And sometimes we forget about the premises of, like, when we use the N-word. Right. You know, I've been seeing a lot of people outside of black people use the N-word.
Supposedly not qualified.
It's not qualified to use the N-word, but seemingly we put it in movies and we are allowed to say the N-word. Where even I seen a clip of an Asian person. Oh, I'm not Caucasian. I'm not white. I could say the N-word, and it's like, all right. So what if we were to change that word to Nazi? What if we were to say, yo, what's up, my Nazi? Yo, what's good, my Nazi? Yo, you know, I know that seems crazy to you for me to say something like that, but for him, you're trying to understand what he's saying, and there's no excuse for that because we are people who's positive and about love, but sometimes he's the person who pushes the barrier.
Yeah, push the barrier.
And make you think, yeah, why is it cool to say N-word? That was a time where people were calling them N-word and they were getting killed and massacred and hung for these things. Right. But it's okay for us to say that in music. But the moment that we say Nazi, which
another N-word.
I grew up with this. I've heard the Anne Frank story. I'm a American. I understand the history of it. It's the Holocaust and everything they were doing. It's terrible.
Right.
So I say this, I don't completely agree with his approach, but I'm a Gemini too, so I kind of
seek some understanding with it.
I try to seek some understanding of it. You know,
that's a great point. I definitely have not heard.
Me putting myself on the line right now of saying this in front of you is a course for my life and a course for outside of this podcast. But you know what? I gotta keep it real.
It's just a different perspective. It's just a different perspective to seek understanding because, excuse me, that's a great point. Like we do throw nigga around like it's nothing. Like we throw that word around, but not really understanding, bro. That was like a real term that was used to freaking like hold people, a group of people down. That was used to like, we have this word to destroy, to make you believe and feel like you are less than, you're not even a human. I can't even call you a man. I'm gonna call you a nigga. Yeah. Know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. So it was one of those words. It was, know what I mean? And I guess in the same instance, how the swastika is one of those which used to be a positive symbol.
Used to be a positive symbol. The knowledge that we don't even know.
It's the same thing.
But we associate it with that time, and it's sad. You know, I understand that, but you know, we gotta be open and try to understand this person's mind that he's just not being very sporadic. Yeah, he's very sporadic at the same time because I think his approach is definitely wrong. Like we don't have to bring the KKK all black, you know.
But even that, like I
that.
Think it, you know,
I don't
like
think
what
he
we're
has to
saying,
do it like that.
I would like to hear him say what we're saying. You know what I mean? Because that would give people a more of an understanding of it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, that's true. Like nigger, was like a word that was used to tear a group of people down and bring us, make us feel less than human. But we have, transformed it into something that is a term of endearment. Why can't we do that with other things?
Yeah.
The same way the Nazi symbol was turned for something positive to negative, why can't we turn it back into something positive?
I think that's his whole approach.
Yeah, I'm just saying, come on, don't attack me now. I'm just giving a different perspective. Like, we did that with that word. Why can't we do that with other things? Like, I know people are so up in arms about fighting, about, we gotta protect it. And then
we live in a country where they say freedom of speech and freedom of speech, but it's like, you'll love to say that word, but you can't say the word Nazi and things like that. It's like because honestly, for us, it feels like whatever we do, we can't have it to ourselves. Some way, somehow, that, and it doesn't have to be like that, because I'm completely against having things to ourselves, and I'm completely
let's just break down
I don't like the divided.
Yeah, let's break down
I don't care about us. United we stand, divided we fall.
Big fact.
That's what I'm about.
Yeah, we got to really start doing
So I don't even care about race and all these different type of things. I'd rather us be connected. But we do have to come to the conclusion of reality of things that's occurring. Within outside of the media, with jobs, like not being hired for certain thing because of your color or these
and it's
are
the same idea.
Reality.
Yeah,
it's reality.
It's the same idea. What you're talking about now and what you said just now is like, let's break down those barriers. Let's stop doing this shit where we're judging each other about our color and our this. The culture is great. I think the culture is something that we all, it can sort of identify us, and it's one of those things like that we can use to connect with each other. But the color thing, separating people by color and by, creed, it's like, we got to start getting rid of that, man. Like, I'm cool, especially for us, like we keep referencing this about moving from Queens to Long Island. Like,
yeah,
I grew up with a lot of white dudes and Spanish guys.
When we went to China, they try to throw that idea that, people are racist, and there's racists all over the world. But we haven't, when we went to China, we toured in China. We did 90.
Listen, that's a whole
days.
episode in itself.
That's true.
That's a whole episode in itself. Our experience in China, which we will definitely do, and maybe that's episode 2. But yeah,
I was thinking going 130. To be honest.
Yeah, it is what it is. We going.
End of that China,
Yeah.
I think like when we went to China, like that was an experience in itself. We didn't experience any racism.
Nah. You didn't. It's just different, and I mean it's just different. Like, it's not, because we gotta really understand. People gotta really step back and look at it from a different perspective. Like, racism in the U.S. is a very specific thing. Like it's a very nuanced thing in this country. Like, we have certain things, like there's a lot of countries who didn't have the civil rights movement. Like, I know we look at the civil rights movement because America is such a big country, but there's a lot of countries who had their own movement. Now, I mean, wasn't the civil rights movement, who had their own martyrs that wasn't Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like, so we got to really look at it. And then there's countries who didn't have that at all. A place like China had a whole different type of system, a whole different type of understanding thing going on. So it's like they didn't deal with racism in that manner. When we go to that,
even though there's definitely racism everywhere. Let's be real, because I feel like most of their racism comes with Africans, like literally people who are from Africa. What I've experienced. I'm saying what I've experienced. I'm not saying what people have known to be. I've experienced people being more racist to people who are from Africa than actually Americans, Black Americans. They love us.
So it doesn't become a black thing. It doesn't become a skin color thing. It's because of where you're from. The culture that you represent, or the way that you act is different we don't like the way that these people act versus these people act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when we were out there, they were taking photos of us. Speaking of that, you know, you see Speed out there.
Yeah.
Speed is
Yo,
like,
you know, I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, when I first seen this guy,
never was a fan of him.
He annoyed.
Never was a fan of him.
He annoyed the
I wasn't.
crap
I
out
wasn't.
of me. I
And you know, I think that's
disliked
like
him a lot.
I think that's old nigga mentality.
Right, 100%, 100%.
Listen,
100%.
I'm not that old. You're older than me,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I've
100%.
seen it.
I
I'm
was
like
old
a
man
clown.
yelling
like,
at cloud.
You know, when you
100%.
barking everywhere, I'm like, what is this kid doing? But I love what he's doing. I love the fact that he's going to different countries. He's showing the culture, and he knows how to move.
Right.
And I think everything that he's doing, he's approaching it with love.
Right.
When people attacked us in China, I was ready to swing. I'm not gonna hold you. Sorry to interrupt you in the mid-conversation, but we need you to do one thing for us right now. Like, comment, and subscribe. We making moves. If you like what you hear, we need you to be a part of the family, be a part of the team. So like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what you think. God bless. Yeah, it's crazy to see Speed out there. Like, we speak a little Mandarin ourselves.
Ni hao.
Ni jiaxianmanmenzi. I don't know if I'm saying that. It's been a long time. You know, it's been a long time, but I think it's amazing what he's doing, like going to different cultures and, you know.
I think he's like bringing people together in a way, and I hate this divide, man. We especially in America, we have this idea about the boogeyman far across the land, across the waters. It's like, it ain't no boogeyman, bro. Like, it's not no boogeyman. And speaking of somebody who's been on that side of the world, who's been to Asia, who's been to China, who's been to Korea, who's been to Thailand, it's not no boogeyman, man. It's like, it's regular people. It's regular people over there, just like us. You've been
mostly in the
That's all I've been, really, overseas. I've been in Asian countries.
So funny. Yeah.
But it's really not no boogeyman. And I understand. I get the perspective. You know, people at the end of the day want to survive, want to protect themselves. And, you know, so I get that aspect of it. But, yo, at the end of the day, these are regular people who are living their lives, who are trying to survive, who are, you know, want to have fun, want to do beautiful things. And that's why I see like a guy like Speed is showing that side of China, is showing that side of those Asian countries where, like, yo, they're just regular people who enjoy our culture, who enjoy people. Like, to see a young black man over there and people are coming in the hundreds of thousands.
You know, like, what I was shocked mostly about when we went to China, when we had our days off, we'll go to the movie theaters,
right?
And they're like filming our movie theaters. Like, our movie theaters are like, I mean, our films are in movie theaters, and I'm just like, you know, we don't have that. Like,
That's true.
We don't have like
Asian movies playing in our movie theaters here, and this is what we keep saying about, like, yo, you keep trying to
English too, complete English, but just their subtitles, and I'm like, what?
They did not have that in Korea, which I was a little tight about. But no, I can't even say I was tight about that. I was glad because I watched a movie called Escape in Korea, and it was completely in Korean, and I still enjoyed the movie even though I didn't understand what they were saying. It was definitely a cinematic.
Didn't have subtitles or nothing.
Nah, not English subtitles or nothing. But I still enjoyed it. I still really enjoyed it. But it's like, yo, let's stop putting up these walls, man. We got to start tearing down these walls. We're all human beings. And yo, you would never, that's why I go back to our guy Speed, man. I see him over there. You would never know, and you would never, know that you would love Chinese culture. He's over there, and I'm looking at him, and I'm seeing the things. He's enjoying himself because he's seeing a whole different perspective.
And we literally went to 90 cities.
Oh, we went everywhere
in China. Like, literally. So we have experience doing that, and it was amazing. I didn't feel racism at all.
Nah, I didn't.
I'll be honest, like, not one time. I can't tell you about one experience where I've had with racism. I literally had a man hand me their child.
Facts.
Yeah, I was swimming in the water, and he's like, and I'm backing up in the water like, Like, nah, I don't want your child.
I want to
He's
hold your baby.
I want a Black American man to hold my baby.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
You
like,
hold my baby, I'm gonna take a. And imagine that. Like, that would never happen in America.
That would never happen.
That would never happen in America.
Like,
so
hold them.
With just that thought, think about what that means.
That's crazy.
That means in that man's mind, he does not see you as a threat. He doesn't see you as a threat
in
at
the
all.
water.
You're a young Black man, a muscular Black man in the middle. There's no other Black people around, and he hands you his baby. That would never happen in America. And that kind of says something about our culture here. With something, we got to change something, man, because it's like, and the same thing in Korea. Like, in my mind, I wanted to say some things were racist in Korea, but I think a lot of the times it was just
our mentality.
Different. Yeah, it's our mentality.
Like what we're told here,
right,
and stuff like that.
And it's just different. Like they don't know. You know, they don't know this. They don't know how to speak your language. So if they don't understand English,
like when you hear the word nigga,
yeah.
I don't know what the definition out there, but
in Korea, in China, it's that.
It's that, right?
It's that.
So it's like, and it's so funny because Speed has like he's like, he heard nigga, and that was so funny because that was my experience when I heard nigga.
We had
I'm
that
like,
same thing.
We were
here nigga,
and we're like,
what
talking about, nigga? Like, yeah, like, and that was our mentality, but that word was totally different. Like, that wasn't the real, and I'm pretty sure it's not nigga too. It's like, it's nigga, probably
it's like nigga. It's like, it's not nigger, it's nigga.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I seen a recent clip of Speed like performing the song on stage. But he's leaving that perception for us, like, yeah, he's performing the song saying nigga, but that's not the meaning. That's not, they have a totally different meaning. So when you hear that word in conversation, you like, get offensive, and then you looking at him like, that's not even the meaning.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's just different cultures, and I feel like all these walls that's going up is separating us and dividing us, so we're not able to see those things like what Speed is doing. We're not able to be like, oh, it's words that sound the same, but it means a totally different thing to these people. Oh, they do things like this. It's not like that. Oh, they're not racist. Their culture is about being submissive and being like more docile and being more, so they don't speak openly to you when you go out because they're like, oh no, I don't want to disturb him. You know, it's like I go to a restaurant and I sit down and like, I see people staring, but they don't say anything. And it's like, in America, you'd be like, yo, what the fuck you looking at? Like, but there it's like, there it's like, no, it's like, they don't want to feel like they might have something to say, but they don't want to disturb
That New York
you.
mentality is something.
Yeah.
You take it anywhere and you're like, you realize you got a problem.
Looking at? Like,
you got a problem.
That happened to me so many times. I'm taking the train in Korea and I'm just by myself, the only Black guy on the car. And they're like, yo, is everybody staring at me? And I'm like, what the fuck are they looking at? It's like, yo, there are no black people over here. Why wouldn't they stare? If you imagine you in the middle of a predominantly black area and then you see an Asian guy on the train, you would look too like, what is this Asian guy doing here? It's the same thing. They're looking at me like, yo, what is this Asian?
It's all
black
about
guy doing here?
making moves. That's why, we put this information out for people. If you are, I seen a quote. Speaking of China, I seen a quote recently about Jackie Chan because it was his birthday that passed. Yeah,
recently?
It was this week.
He's an Aries?
It was this week.
Woo-woo!
And he was basically saying like, more than making money, you gotta make moves. Basically saying travel. He said travel more than making money because you're always gonna make the money, and that's you have to travel. You have to experience and put yourself out there. So, I mean, with this conclusion, it's Melee and Jules. We making moves, and we want to, lead this positivity in this GODcast. Right. So, I mean, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you guys so much for tuning in, especially if you stayed through this whole thing. I know there was a lot of information we threw at you guys.
It's just the beginning.
Episode, but it's just the beginning, and we have a lot to say. So, I know, it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait for you guys to see what we have in store. We're going to have guests. Please, please, please leave comments and suggestions.
Comment, share.
Right. Like, comment, share.
But like he said, leave some suggestions.
Right.
Talk about it. Let's get this conversation going, you know?
Let us know. We definitely want to have guests on this podcast. We here in the van. We got much room, a lot of room for people to come and enjoy this experience with us. So please let us know what guest you would like to have on it. Think about it now. There's a lot of people we can have on this podcast. You know, thinking about our circle and what we've been involved in, there's a lot of people we can have involved in this process. So if you know you want some guests to come on that we haven't really spoken of or that we have spoken of, you know, tag them below. Let them know that they should come on the Making Moves podcast with Melee and Jules, and we will try to make that happen, man. We appreciate y'all. We're glad for y'all to be on our journey. Glad for y'all to take this ride with us, and we appreciate all the love and support. All right, much love.
God bless.
God bless.